episode 209, a deeper dive into OpenDev Day 2025.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful.
AI is a golden opportunity.
How do we ensure that this technology is regulated?
The long arc of technological history is now in an extraordinary new phase.
The AI 6 podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
I decided to go a bit deeper into OpenAI's OpenDev Day conference, and so I'm handing over this week's long listen episode to the topic. So using my trusted Notebook LM AI tool, here's the key takeaways from OpenDev 2025.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are really jumping into, the flood of announcements from OpenAI Dev Day 2025. If you're building with AI, maybe planning what's next, or even just, trying to get a handle on where things are heading, this is for you, the big takeaway. It's an amazing time to be a builder, like really unprecedented potential.
Yeah, and it's not just hype. The infrastructure they talked about, it's seriously scaled up. Think about it. Our sources pointed to 4 million developers already on board, plus serving over 800 million ChatGPT users every single week. And this number is kind of staggering. The API platform, it's crunching 6 billion tokens a minute.
6 billion per minute. Wow, that's serious throughput.
Okay, so our job today really is to cut through all that noise, find the signal. We sort of noticed two big parallel tracks in everything they announced. That's right. First one is this really shoved focus on efficiency, getting specific, making things faster, and crucially, bringing down the costs. And the second track is this major push, like a real acceleration into agents, moving beyond just smart tools to, systems that can act on their own. So we should probably dig into the models and the tools that are making both these things happen, starting at the top.
We're at the top end. That's the new GPT-5 Pro and the API. They're calling it the smartest model in the API. And it's aimed squarely at tasks where precision matters.
Mm-hmm.
So for you listening, why do we suddenly need this super high-end, probably more expensive tier?
Well, it comes down to complexity, really, and the stakes. If you're dealing with, say, intricate legal contracts or complex financial stuff, maybe high-level R&D, getting that accuracy from 99% up to 99.9%, that difference is worth paying for. So GPT-5 Pro, it's like the dedicated power tool for jobs where you just cannot afford even small errors.
Okay, so that covers let's say, the premium needs. But what about everyone else? The folks trying to build things out efficiently, at scale. This is where that other theme comes in, right? The mini revolution, as you put it.
Exactly. And this is, I think, a really key insight for developers. They rolled out 2 new models, highly specialized, and really focused on cost. First, there's GPT Real-Time Mini. It's a smaller voice model, but it's 70% cheaper than the big one.
70%?
Yeah. And second, GPT Image 1 Mini. Same idea, smaller image generation, but 80% cheaper.
80% less. Those numbers are,
okay.
They're huge for anyone managing operational costs. But hang on, doesn't that mean developers now have to juggle multiple models? You save money, sure, but doesn't it add complexity to your system? What's the play here?
The play, and OpenAI seems pretty clear about this, is embracing what you might call a heterogeneous model architecture. The core idea is use the cheap, fast mini models for the everyday stuff, generating simple image previews, handling basic voice transcriptions, things like that. And you only call in the big guns like GPT-5 Pro when the task is absolutely critical and needs that top-level reasoning. It's all about smart routing, optimizing cost per function across your whole app.
Right. Use the right tool for the job, basically. Don't use a sledgehammer to crack a nut. So that covers the efficiency piece, cost optimization. But the other massive theme, as we said, was this drive towards autonomy, the agentic leap.
Absolutely. It feels like they're really shifting the platform's focus, moving beyond just, generating text or code suggestions, towards building systems that can actually explore options, make plans, and then act autonomously. And they gave developers 2 main tools to start doing this.
Okay, what are they?
First up is Agent Kit. This is their new dedicated toolkit specifically designed for building production-grade agents. That phrase, production-grade, is key. It signals they're moving past just proofs of concept. They're aiming for the kind of stability and reliability that big companies need for these autonomous systems. And alongside that, there's the new ability to chat with apps directly inside ChatGPT. These apps are built using the new Apps SDK software development kit, Still in preview, but it's a big deal.
Apps in ChatGPT. So that makes these agents instantly usable by, well, millions of people. And the sources, they really hammered home how companies are actually using this stuff now. I remember that session with Cursor, right? Focusing completely on coding agents.
Yeah, that was fascinating because it showed the evolution. Cursor isn't just doing simple code complete anymore. They're talking about fully autonomous agents that can handle really complex coding tasks. And a big part of how they're doing it, they said, was context engineering.
Context engineering? Okay, that sounds technical. What does that actually mean for making these agents work better?
It's about managing the fire hose of information an agent needs. Think about it. Code bases, documentation, bug tickets, test results. It's a lot. Context engineering is a process of organizing all that, summarizing it, compressing it, so the agent gets a clear, manageable picture of the world it's working in. That's how it makes reliable decisions. And, crucially, how you can run multiple agents working on different things at the same time.
Which then brings up the next challenge. Running lots of these agents effectively scale. That must be why they had that session, orchestrating agents at scale.
Exactly. It was all about how to use these new platform tools to design and deploy enterprise-level agents and do it quickly.
And proving it's not just theory. There was the OpenAI on OpenAI session.
Right. That's them showing they use their own tools for serious internal stuff. They're deploying these agents for sales processes, customer support, finance workflows, data analysis. If they trust it for their own critical operations, that's a pretty strong signal to developers about reliability.
It definitely provides a blueprint. Okay, so if these agents are going to be truly autonomous, they need capabilities beyond just planning. They need to actually write code effectively and even create things like media. How do the new tools help with that creative generative side? Let's talk Codex, Sora, and open models.
Okay, so Codex. It's now GA, generally available, meaning it's officially ready for enterprise use. And it's gotten a lot more sophisticated. We're talking about specific features now, like Slack integration, plus a dedicated Codex SDK and all the necessary enterprise controls around security and usage. The session shipping with Codex really drove home that this is changing how coding gets done. Less about typing every line, more about refactoring, merging code, speeding up that whole creative cycle for developers.
And on the media side, video generation gets plugged right into apps now with Sora 2 and the API.
Yeah, that's a potential game changer for media companies, ad agencies, anyone doing creative production. They had a session called The Next Wave of Creative Production. It detailed how you could build custom tools on top of Sora for specific workflows. Imagine automatically generating video assets for a film or variations for a brand campaign. It turns video creation from a purely manual thing into something you can integrate programmatically.
That expansion makes sense, but then there was this interesting contrast, wasn't there? Away from the big proprietary models, they also made a commitment to open systems with the GPT-IOS series.
Yes, the Building with Open Models concept. It's a new series of open source models. The idea is that developers can take these, really dig in, adapt them, extend them, fine-tune them for very specific needs. But the really clever part is the hybrid approach they're pushing. These GPT-IOS models are designed to work with the big guns, like GPT-5 Pro, seamlessly.
Okay, explain that hybrid benefit. Why would a developer use both? What's the advantage?
Well, think about it. You could take a GPT-IOS model and fine-tune it deeply on your own sensitive proprietary data, maybe specific product info or customer interaction styles, stuff you wouldn't send to a general API. So you get that deep customization. Then you use the massive general reasoning power of GPT-5 Pro for the complex planning, the multi-step problem solving, the generalization part. So you end up with the best of both worlds. Tailored knowledge from open source combined with world-class intelligence from the flagship.
That sounds incredibly powerful for developers working on advanced applications. But okay, we've gone way beyond just checking if generated text sounds right. We're talking about agents that plan, explore, execute complex tasks over time. How on earth do you evaluate that? It must be way harder than just running benchmarks.
It absolutely is. And they spent a fair bit of time on this rethinking of evaluation. There was the evils in action session, showing how they're moving beyond simple accuracy metrics. They're trying to capture things like reasoning quality, how reliable the model is, actual progress on real-world tasks. The old pass-fail tests just don't cut it anymore.
And the ARC Prize Foundation folks, they emphasize this too, talking about interactive evaluations. What's the difference? Interactive versus the static benchmarks we usually hear about.
Static benchmarks are like, here's a list of questions, give me the answers. Fixed. Interactive evaluations are different. They put the agent in a dynamic environment, like a sandbox. They measure how it explores, how it makes plans, how it handles unexpected things, and maybe most importantly, how it recovers from mistakes over a long task. It's about measuring its ability to explore, plan, and reliably execute across diverse, long-horizon tasks. That's how you measure real autonomy, not just pattern matching.
They also mentioned digging into model behavior, right? Trying to understand the style or personality that emerges.
Exactly. Because when these agents start interacting with customers, say in sales or support, that style really matters. It affects how people perceive the interaction, the brand. So the researchers talked about the kind of trade-offs they make when designing how humans and AI work together. Understanding that tone isn't just fluff, it's part of the function, especially in business.
Speaking of business, the reality check definitely came in that live AMA session, the one with the founders from Decagon and Clay, plus the investor from Andreessen Horowitz.
Oh yeah, that was essential listening for anyone actually trying to sell this stuff. They were brutally honest about the challenges of getting AI adopted in big companies. The key takeaway wasn't really about the tech itself, it was about the ops and the sales. They talked very openly about why so many AI pilots and enterprises just fizzle out, what mistakes founders often make early on with getting their product out there, and the kind of strategies you actually need to scale up and become, a unicorn.
Yeah, a much-needed dose of business reality amidst all the tech excitement. And then, kind of framing the whole event, there was that conversation between Sam Altman and Joni Ive.
That really elevated the discussion, didn't it? Moved it beyond just tokens per minute and API calls. They talked about the actual craft of building things, the design process, the importance of collaboration, and the responsibility that comes with creating these incredibly powerful tools, building them thoughtfully, responsibly, and beautifully, as they put it, a reminder that the engineering needs to be guided by strong design and human values.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. What does all this mean for you, the listener, the builder? The core shift we saw at Dev Day 2025, it's the developer platform really growing up. We've moved way past just simple API access. Now it's a specialized ecosystem, one designed for cost-effective deployment and managing these highly autonomous agent systems.
Exactly. The platform now lets you scale massively but cheaply with the mini models. It gives you that laser precision with GPT-5 Pro when you absolutely need it. And crucially, it provides the sophisticated tools like AgentKit and the SDKs to build systems that don't just respond, but actually act and plan for you.
Which brings us to our final thought. Something for you to chew on. We're in this new zone now. You can combine the customizability of GPT-2, fine-tuned on your data, with the sheer reasoning power of GPT-5 Pro, all orchestrated by AgentKit. If the AI itself can handle the exploration, the planning, the complex execution over long stretches, what does coding or building even mean anymore? What becomes the most valuable thing a developer does? And thinking back to that Altman-Ive chat, what are the ethical guidelines, the design principles we need to embed in the first truly autonomous applications we start deploying at scale?
Yeah, think about that intersection. Incredible speed meets genuine autonomy. We've laid out the tools and the trends. Now it's about building thoughtfully.
We'll catch you next time for the next deep dive.